They say if you hear the sound of hooves on a lonely road at night, it's already too late. It's not a horse. It's not a deer. It's something else. Something that watches from the tree line and waits. Some call it a demon. Others say it's a failed experiment born in a secret lab. And some, those who've seen it and survived, claim it's a curse as old as the land itself. This is the legend of the Goatman, a creature said to stalk the forests, the bridges, and the forgotten backroads from Texas to Maryland. Half man, half goat, and all terror. The origins of the Goatman. Long before modern sightings, the idea of goat-like creatures walked through our mythology. The Greeks spoke of satyrs, wild, lustful beings with human torsos and goat legs. In medieval Europe, goats became symbols of the devil himself, their twisted horns and rectangular eyes unsettling to anyone who looked too long. But the American Goatman is something different. This isn't just a story about temptation or mischief. This is a predator. Its modern form emerges in whispers from the 1950s and 60s, though some say the native peoples of the land warned settlers about a horned, man-like creature long before European colonists ever built their homes. Some believe it was an ancient guardian spirit of the forest, angered when the land was cut down, the rivers polluted, and the wildlife hunted. Others think it's the result of man's interference with nature. A hybrid gone wrong. The first truly terrifying encounters? They start in Texas. Texas and the Lake Worth monster. It was the summer of 1969 when Fort Worth, Texas, began to buzz with a strange story. At Lake Worth, near a spot known as the Greer Island Nature Center, people began seeing something. 7 feet tall, covered in white, woolly hair, with a face both human and animal. One night in July, a group of couples were parked near the lake, young, carefree, the way teenagers often are, when something burst from the trees. It had horns. It smelled like decay, and it was holding what witnesses swore was a tire, which it hurled at their car before disappearing into the woods. The next night, police received multiple calls. One man claimed the thing jumped onto his car, denting the hood. Another swore it chased him down a dirt road on foot. But here's the most chilling part. Several of these witnesses were sober adults, not prank-pulling teens. The newspapers dubbed it the Lake Worth Monster. And for a time, Fort Worth lived in fear. Some locals carried shotguns when walking near the lake. Others refused to drive there at night. Then, just as suddenly as it came, the sightings stopped. Or at least the public ones did. Because some residents say the Goatman never left Lake Worth. He simply waits for the right night to show himself again. Denton Bridge and Texas hauntings. Texas doesn't have just one Goatman. Drive north to Denton County and you'll find the old Alton Bridge, a rusted relic surrounded by thick woods. Locals call it Goatman's Bridge. The story here is older, darker. Legend says a black goat farmer named Oscar Washburn lived nearby in the 1930s. Known for his kindness, Washburn was respected by many, but despised by a group of white men in town who couldn't stand to see a black man prosper. One night, they dragged him from his home and took him to the bridge. They placed a noose around his neck and threw him over. When they looked down to confirm his death, his body was gone. Enraged and terrified, they returned to his farm, only to find it abandoned. His wife and children vanished without a trace. From that night on, people reported seeing a horned figure in the woods near the bridge. Some claimed to hear heavy hoof steps on the planks behind them. Others said if you parked on the bridge at midnight and called out, "Goatman," you'd see red eyes staring from the tree line. Today, thrill-seekers visit Old Alton Bridge hoping for a scare. But locals warn, don't mock the Goatman. He's not just a story. Maryland's Goatman. If Texas is the wild, vengeful version of the Goatman, Maryland's is something stranger, and perhaps even more disturbing. Beltsville, Maryland has been home to one of America's longest-running Goatman legends. It's said he was a scientist at the Beltsville Agricultural Research Center, working on experiments to splice goat DNA with humans. The reason? To improve livestock breeding. But something went horribly wrong. According to legend, the scientist accidentally mutated himself during an experiment gone awry. Now a half-human, half-goat monstrosity, he fled into the woods, driven mad by his condition. From the 1950s onward, locals reported seeing him stalking Lover's Lane, dragging an axe. Pets disappeared from backyards. Cars were found scratched to pieces. And in one of the most disturbing stories, a young couple claimed the Goatman attacked their car while they were parked, shattering the windows before melting into the darkness. The Maryland Goatman has become a fixture of local folklore, with sightings as recent as the 2000s. But whether he's an escaped experiment, a supernatural creature, or an urban legend that refuses to die, no one can prove. Eyewitness accounts over the years, eyewitness reports from both Texas and Maryland have shared haunting similarities, a height of 6 to 8 feet. Fur ranging from white to brown, eyes that glow red when caught in light. A stench like rotting meat. The sound of hooves on hard ground, followed by silence. One Texas hunter swore he saw the Goatman crouched over a deer carcass in the early morning. When it noticed him, it didn't run. It stood up and smiled. A Maryland man claimed to have been chased for nearly a mile down a back road by something that ran like a man but hit the ground like a horse. He refused to drive that route again. Theories. What is the Goatman? Theories range from escaped government experiments to ancient nature spirits. Some cryptozoologists think it could be a misidentified Bigfoot-like creature with deformed features. Others argue it's purely supernatural, something that takes the form of a goat to strike fear into anyone who dares enter its territory. Why the legend endures, the Goatman taps into something primal in us. A fear of the dark woods. A fear of being hunted. A fear that there are still things out there that don't belong in the world we know. Maybe the Goatman is just a story. Maybe he's the product of campfire dares and overactive imaginations. But if you ever find yourself on an old bridge at night, and you hear hoofsteps behind you, don't turn around. Because if the Goatman is real, he's already too close.